Can you hear me, Josh? Am I on?
Yep, you're on.
Okay. I'll give it another minute or two so that
Yeah.
everybody comes in, and we'll wait for Darren as well to get on. Hope everybody's having a good week. It's a good start to Monday. It's been a rough week for me, guys. I was in Vegas all week for SHOT Show, actually pitching our project quite a bit and doing all kinds of stuff for either company, Real World Tactical and Warrior Alliance both. Uh, didn't get much sleep, and then First Form. If you guys know First Form, it's a company that I've been working with for a very long time as well. We had our gala this coming weekend, and so I just got home last night around 10 o'clock at night. I'm just settling in, and then we have the big man, the myth, the legend, Darren Copley, our main game developer, to talk to you guys and give you a little glimpse of what what we have coming down and all that good stuff, and so you can ask him some questions and all that stuff. We're 80 already. All right, Darren, you on?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
All right. So guys, this is Darren Copley. He's the owner of Tipping Toast Media. Today is mainly so that he can explain to you a bit about who he is, what he's been doing, some of the projects that he's worked on. Some of the stuff that he's worked on has NDAs on it, so he couldn't go too much into detail, but so at least you have an idea of who's going to be doing our game, how much experience he has. He's been working with us since the beginning. And then once we do these collections, and we can start the process of the entire game, and so you can see that we're not bullshitting around. That people are actually on the backside working and actually doing some stuff. So Darren, if you could give a little intro for yourself and let everybody know who you are, what you do, and all the great stuff you've accomplished.
Thanks, Tony. Appreciate it. Hey guys, thanks for having me today. I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here to talk about this amazing title. I'm very excited to get into it and start building this thing. It's a really cool idea. I knew about Tony a long time ago before we got into this, and to be tapped by him and really given the nod to build this thing for him has been an honor. So a little bit about me, kind of nutshelling 15 years of this and pretty much 35 years of gaming. We've been an agency for about 12 years. I was in a totally different industry a long time ago, and I knew that game development was what I wanted to do from just when I made my first game development document on a little piece of paper with a Sharpie. I did a Calvin and Hobbes game probably in '87. I built a Calvin and Hobbes game. I was supposed to be playing outside with friends, and I was designing game levels for Calvin and Hobbes, which is a cool little book and story I was reading back then. And I knew that was something I wanted to do, but it didn't show itself till later. And so started the business on my own, family funded. My dad believed in me, and I built it up from 3 people, myself designing and planning video games, and 2 other designers, to now we have 68 people on staff. And we build everything from private client builds to AAA game projects, working with EA, Ubisoft, working on Assassin's Creed, Walking Dead, all kinds of stuff like that. We do 3D modeling, animation, weapon design, sound design, visual effects, everything you can think of. And we've been doing, we've done about 300 titles in the past 12 years, just with gaming, not to mention 3D modeling and graphic art, everything you can think of. So I'm a total gamer nerd. I live and breathe this industry, and I'm here today to answer any questions that you guys might have about what we're going to do for this. You guys are obviously investing in this project and believing in Tony's project, so we're going to bring it to life. But if anybody wants to talk to me about anything that has to do with the game and the plans to build the game, I'm here to listen and fill you in.
Sure. So, what I did, Darren, is before we got on stage here earlier today, I opened up a questionnaire that people could drop some questions. Some of them were related to the game, some of them were not.
Sure.
And some of them we can kind of tag team. So, One of the
Sure.
first questions asked was, and this will kind of be an answer for the both of you, Tony and Darren here. How do you plan to build 1,000 fully designed and rigged demigod characters? That's our custom NFTs that are rigged up and made in your liking or your image. Um, Time frame and the budget for something like that, and obviously questions around like the fully custom and rigged models, and how that's going to translate into the game. And that was asked by Podicus. So Tony and Darren, if you two want to chime in on that, because that's kind of a tag team thing. It's not all on Darren, and but you play a very, very, very big role in bringing that to life.
Okay. Tony, do you want me to take this one because it's kind of the modeling and development part?
Yeah, what I want to say to everybody. So one thing is for the demigod. Remember, it's always going to be a warrior, all right? So there are going to be certain aspects that are going to be pre-made already for you. Now it's going to be in your likeness, meaning it's going to look like you. It's going to be you. But some people ask me some questions in regards to like, oh, can I do a wolf or can I do a this or can I do that? So if you wanted per se a wolf or you wanted per se, let's say a monkey or something like that, it's still going to be a warrior per se, a human, and it will have the monkey mask or the monkey whatever, however you wanted to do it that route. So I don't want you guys to think that when we're saying we're building a 1,000 custom 3D models, it's going to be 1,000 custom, where it's just going to be any creature in any kind of form with hair and all these different type of things. Okay, that's just number one. And I think you know when it comes to Darren, this is what he does every single day. So when I approached him originally, I asked him, "Hey, can this be done?" And he was like, "Yes, it can be done." And I'm gonna stop right there, and then boom, give it to you, Darren. You go ahead.
So uh, let me just make it clear. You just want to know how the 3D modeling of the NFTs are going to be built. Is that correct?
I think I think that's what he's talking about.
It's
Like,
yeah,
how's it going to be and how long it's going to take? You know what I mean? How long would it take or so?
I think it's more of a question on how we're going to be able to bring that to life. And Tony's answer kind of helped with that. Is it's not going to be quite as complex. It's not going to be 1,000 individually rendered, and well, they'll be individually rendered, but they're not going to have to all be mapped individually because they're going to follow the same form as the rest of our characters, just with some different models that go over that. So Darren can talk a little bit more about some of the obstacles and things he's going to have to play around with some of these custom models, but the process shouldn't be entirely different from what we already have implemented.
Yeah. So basically, what we'll do is, I'm going to be given my marching orders and my team my marching orders. Tony and his team are going to let me know and show me what they need to build for you guys. So you need a hat, you need an eagle, these are assets that will be created upon request. So if they come to me and say, this skin needs to be made, this person needs to be made, this creature needs to be made, we're here to custom make it, pump it out, and deliver it as an asset. So really, I'm here to just do what you guys tell me to do. So if there is something that's going to belong on a body or a skin, like a hat or mask or tactical knife or anything, we're going to build it out. Every single model is different, though. For example, when you're talking about a full body skin or just a hat, right? So those are two different things, and those things take two different amounts of time to build. So on average, if you're talking about maybe a skin or something to that effect, those things take probably 5 to 7 days on average. And then you're talking about maybe a dog. If we're doing a dog model for one of the NFT sides of that, we talked about a dog and tactical dog use in the game. An animal rigged and ready to go, things like that take longer than just cosmetic pieces that go on the body. Cosmetic pieces that go on the body, like hats and glasses and certain things that are static on the body, those things are just maybe 1 to 2 days usually. And that includes maybe an edit round or two. If you guys need to say, hey, you know what, the hat needs to be a different color, maybe it needs to be bigger, smaller, stuff like that. So I hope that kind of answers that question for you guys.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. Um, Next question that we have taken from earlier from Cell Phone Trader, and Tony, this might be more directed towards you because obviously Darren is going to do whatever we want to implement into the game. Are the animals cosmetic or will they help fight and play a role in the game?
They will help fight and play a role in the game. Absolutely, they will have you into the team again. Yes.
Yep. So obviously all those dogs and hawks and monkeys that everyone has, we're not entirely sure 100% what that how strong that utility will be yet, but they will play a role and give you a slight advantage when it comes to gameplay. Next question from Sonorus is ETA on game completion.
All right, Tony, do you want me to talk about this, or do you want to take it?
Yeah, no, I want them to hear it from you, Darren, because we've already talked about it.
Mhm.
Let them know the beta version, when it's
Mhm.
expected, all that, and then and then you can go into, obviously we have deadlines for the beta version of the game, the phase 1 beta version of the game, and then
Mhm.
obviously give them a little insight of what it takes to build a full game. With obviously we're going to be doing updates every quarter, whatever, updates on the game and new levels, all these different things. But so that way they hear it from you, because I've already touched on this a little bit, but I want them to hear it from you. You're the guy that's going to be doing it, so.
Sure. Yeah, sure. So first thing we're going to push out is the beta. Where you guys can play around and get a sense of it, and you're going to see a lot of updates along the way. The beta is going to come out sooner than the big game, obviously. The entire game that we mapped out recently with Tony and the team, we have plans to go around 10 months for it, and that's just to give us a little bit of cushion for edits, a little bit of cushion for testing. You guys are putting your hard-earned money and your time into this, and you're really supporting this title. So we don't want to give you something that's clunky. So it's better to wait that little extra time to get some testing in. But we'll let you guys test it. As much as Tony wants to do, and he can let us know what to release. But the community testing is always very important, because we want to know what you guys think, and usually community testing flushes out things that maybe we didn't notice because we're so close to the project. You can find stuff, and we're all in it together, right? So 10 months for the full game is planned, and around 4 to 5 for beta. That's kind of the plan for that. But again, there's always unforeseen things. If you guys know a lot about the gaming industry, you could build something out and it looks cool, and then something breaks on you, and it takes 4 days to fix it, 10 days to fix it, depending on if it's AI, bot language, and bot reaction to hit markers, anything like that. But again, the plan is 10 months for the full game, around
Yeah, okay, but
4.5.
guys, but 10 months for the full game doesn't mean the
4.5.
complete, but
Yeah,
not the finished game, guys. Yeah, he's talking about the beta. So it's 10 months for the full game beta version of it. What we decided to go with, not the finished
it's a
full
foundation
entire
build.
game.
Yeah,
The
foundation build.
Yeah,
Foundation
yeah,
build. Yeah, sorry. Let me get a
yeah.
little more clear about that.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Excuse me. Excuse me. Yeah, foundation beta, that's 10 months. Sorry about that. So you're going to get a lot of content. You're going to get a lot of cool playability. You're going to get some fun interaction, just a lot of good times. But this is a living, breathing thing that takes a lot of time and takes a good amount of development. So just to clear that up, like Tony said, foundation build is the 10 months. And a peek in, we do a little peek. That's the first few months is a peek at what's going on. You can see functionality. You can see the POV and how things are going, gunplay, hit markers, things like that. Very early is the first few months. So I hope that answered that.
Yeah, great. This next question was asked by the Greedy Gorilla. I'll just answer it very quickly because we want to keep these specific to the game for tonight. A question about the builder, and when we allow people to use that again, will they be able to get new randomized options, or will you be able to select them? That will release finalized details on. Initially, when that builder was made, we didn't know the level of creativity our dev had, so it's actually opened up a lot of possibilities with us to go either way. And we just have to consider what that would do to rarities. Obviously, we don't want to mess up anyone that got really rare assets. So no finalized answer on that yet. We could really go whichever way we choose to, and we're going to make sure we make a very careful decision when it comes to that. Moving on, Blessed Mario asked, what's the power difference between standard NFT and non-NFT characters? This is probably going to be more a Tony question. What do you envision for the free-to-play side versus the play to earn? And somebody holding an NFT, what kind of advantage are they going to have over someone that is on a free-to-play?
the I keep forgetting that I put myself on mute. Sorry, guys. Yeah, as soon as you guys talk, I just put it on mute, and then I forget that I'm on mute when I start talking. Pretty much, when you're an NFT holder, it's not only about the game. You're gonna be able to make money in the game, right? So, however we decide to do that, that's gonna be one aspect of it. But the key here for for NFT holders, other than the free to play version, right, is the passive income that you're going to be able to yield um, through staking. That's huge for the NFT people because you're going to be making money just by holding our NFT, right? When the free to play, what I wanted to do with the free to play, so everybody understands, like, so you're saying, so what advantage is an NFT compared to the free to play? The free to play, I'm making it mainly to try to get the mainstream and the mass adoption of our game to the mainstream audience, which there is a kind of a disconnect between play to earn and free to play. I'm still going to allow the NFT guys, which one of the biggest thing that they're going to have is if you have a certain character in your NFT play to earn game, you're going to be able to bring that character into the free to play, meaning whatever colors you have, armor, this and that, right? You're still going to be able to play with that character. The free to play people that don't hold NFTs will not have that custom character that you have in your NFT. They're going to be playing with standard characters, right? They're going to be giving a certain amount of characters that they could pick from, and that's about it. And the whole goal for that is that to give the NFT holders more value, to give the NFT more value, so that someone is willing to pay more money for the NFT that you're holding to play with your character, right? Even though they're not going to be making any money playing the game, it's still a cosmetic thing, right? Just like in Call of Duty, people pay money to get different color guns, to get different color skins, to get all these different things. It's going to be the same concept. That's why I was it was very important to me that we did two versions of the game, a play to earn and a free to play, just to be able to get these, this mainstream and this mass adoption. Because remember this, and this is, I want to tell you guys this, is very, very important, okay? The more people that we have playing this game, let's just say there's only 8,888 people playing this game, right? At this point, then we'll never get a mass adoption. If we get a mass adoption and we have 300,000 people, 1,000,000 people playing this game, think of all the brands, okay, that are going to want to be in our game, because we will have brands that are going to be paying Warrior Lions to be in the game because we have 500,000 people or 1,000,000 people playing this game. Those brands will be giving us money for branding and marketing, and that money, a percentage of that money, will be going back to our NFT holders. Just like when you stake, we are going to be giving that percentage of money back into our NFTs. So holding it, holding the NFT will be very, very valuable while the game is about to come out and during the playing of the game. That's why it's so important for you to have your NFT and a Genesis or this or that, and especially a Demigod. Because if someone likes your Demigod and he offers you however much money it's going to be up to you whether or not you want to sell it or not or keep it. You know what I mean? You do what's always best for your family. You're the one who has to pay your bills, and I'm never going to take that into saying, well, if some guy's offering you 15 ETH, for one of your demigods, and that's going to help you buy a house, then you know what? It's time for you to buy a house. You know what I mean? And that's the goal for me. The goal is not only to build a game that's going to be a great game for everybody to play, but also to possibly maybe change some of your lives with the money that we're going to do, make in this project. So I can keep rambling on that, but that's the answer that I got for you.
Perfect. Mario also asked if you have plans, Tony, to stick with all the game development with Tipping Toast, or if some parts of the game will be outsourced or developed by anyone else.
For right now, everything will be done by Tipping Toast. There are no plans on outsourcing it to anyone else. Tipping Toast is within capable of with 60 something employees. They're more than capable of doing it. So right now there's no plans on outsourcing to anyone else.
Perfect. And then what can somebody expect for finished game graphics? What could you compare it to for them, Tony or Darren? What are we shooting for as far as graphics go?
Tony, you want to take that one or me?
Yeah, you take it. You take it, and you know exactly what we've talked about. You take
Yeah,
it.
so we have been planning on a Gears of War style output. If you guys have played Gears of War, the LOD, we call it LOD, but it means level of detail. Um, we're going to do that as far as environmental, and as far as character design, clothing design, weapon design, movement, rigging, and things like that. So if you guys have played Gears of War, prepare this to be the same style and level of detail on that. Um, does that answer it properly?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Gears of War is definitely a game that we're taking a lot of inspiration from.
Yeah.
Will the NFT levels be split? Tony, this is a question for you. As far as power levels, like different tiers, are they going to fight together, or can a demigod be matched against all other NFT characters on one map, one game mode, or is it going to be split? Demigods play demigods, legends play legends. You're muted again, Tony.
In the beginning,
Muted.
everybody's going to be together. It's all going to be all one playing field, right? As the game progresses and we get more people to play, obviously, if we're in the hundreds of thousands of players, you know what I mean, then we can change things around. But at least for the beta version of the game, the first version of the game, it's going to be all inclusive, all in one. Everybody starts at the same, pretty much almost the same line. You know what I mean?
Perfect. Yeah, I would love to see some tournaments, demigod tournaments towards the end of game finalization. That would be cool. This would probably be a great question for Darren here. Volatile Beard from Alpha has asked, what level of CPU would somebody be needing to play a game like this? As crypto mining has really taken computer parts and kind of skyrocketed some prices on some components. Somebody trying to budget out what they might need to spend or look for, what can they expect for minimum requirements to be able to play a game on this scale?
So we can, as the game comes out, we can give actual very, very detailed, kind of processor information. But honestly, we're going to have a part in the settings where you can actually dial down things. So if you've been in a game before where it says, resolution scale, if it's, do you want motion blur? Do you want, your FPS cap, everything. So we'll let you, we'll go up all the way to ultra. Like if you got the best new Alienware with all the goodies, we'll let you play it in 4K and gorgeousness, right? But if it turns out that you're kind of you got something about 4 years old, 5 years old, you can still play. You just got to kind of dial down the settings a little bit, and you can adjust your own play experience. So you're going to have full control in the settings to change your resolution. Are you widescreen? What's your, small screen, basic, everything to make it to where your frame rate matches properly. But I mean, honestly, if you got anything in the past 6 years, you'll be fine. And I don't think anybody goes past that usually. I think everyone who's usually plugged into gaming and dialed in like we are tonight has something pretty relevant and new. But again, you don't have to worry about being on the cusp of every 5 hours when technology changes. We'll let you adjust it through the settings.
Perfect. Igloo asked, what's the background experience of the team developing the game? You kind of touched on that earlier about how your team came to be. Did everybody on your team, I guess, study or come from a video game development background?
Yes. So I built the business from the ground up. I've always been of the thought that when I build something, I'm also the client, right? So I pump out what I would like to have if I was the guy paying the bill, right? So I'm very picky about it. I'm a very picky gamer when I play people's games. So I don't change that when I build games as well. Sometimes I get in trouble with deadlines because I want to stay a little extra on something. Tony knows this, right? But when I want
Yeah.
when I want to spend a little extra time to make a little extra quality for that extra value, um, I don't want to sit there and watch. I don't want to play a game that's crap, right? So why would I give it to somebody else to play? It's not fair to them, especially when you guys are investing your money and you want to see something new and something fresh. So yeah, that's kind of my mentality there. We're all gamers. I only hire gamers. I don't hire anybody who goes, "Oh yeah, I heard of Mario once." I don't. That doesn't happen. They don't get on my team. I've had that before in interviews where they go, my brothers played and I never liked games. I'm like, you're out of here. So um, you have to be a gamer through and through. You have to know references. I'll spot it in 5 seconds if someone doesn't know shit about gaming. Sorry, my language. But if they don't know anything about gaming and they can't, at least quote 5 things from Back to the Future, they're pretty much done. But we're all gamers. We all play games constantly. We're all very picky about games, and we all know that when we want to play what we put out too, right? So it's not like I'm just delivering something for Tony's fans and Tony's product. It's we want to get in there and play at the same time. So we want to push out something good to where when we're in there, we want high FPS, we want good gunplay, we want good PvP. So yeah, I pick everyone. I handpick everyone on my team. They have to be gamer seasoned. They have to know everything you can possibly think of, and love it. It has got to be a passion. It can't be something they're kind of doing to pay the bills. They got to do it like they live, eat, and breathe it, and they want to go further in life. So hopefully that filled that in for you.
That's perfect. Great answer.
Mhm.
Moving on here, this might be a question for Tony. Noctar has asked, how will the stats of strength, power, speed, agility, and intelligence manifest in the game?
That is a very good question, and we have a good idea how that's going to be, but we are not disclosing that information at the given moment. But one thing I can assure everyone is that my game, or I shouldn't say my game, our game, because it's a community-based game, um, is going to be very matched, right? So you're not going to be able to pay for, let's say, if you bought a legend and you have this particular ability, you're not going to have something over somebody else, right? Will you still have utility in the game? Yes, it will. And as we start bringing in the beta version and all different things, we'll explain more how it works. But definitely, there's not going to be any pay to play type of ordeal, right? Or some kind of advantage because you're paying for something. So yeah, that answers that.
Perfect.
What else we got?
Yeah, moving on. First Salvo asked, how will renting characters work? And if you are renting out your character, would you still be able to play as them? Or how will that whole renting process work?
So I'm pretty sure that if you're renting out your character for someone to play with it, you're not going to be able to play with that character. So it's kind of, we're going to do kind of almost the same concept of like Axie Infinity, where you're going to put them in a certain, without getting like detailed, you're going to put them somewhere. Those people are going to have access to that character. They're going to say, well, I want to play with your character. You're going to give them the okay. You're going to agree on a percentage or whatever it may be. And then they're going to be able to play with your character. Then you make a percentage of what they make for the day. And that's it. So if they're there, wherever they are, if they're being staked, if they're there, if they're somewhere else, remember an NFT is an asset. So wherever it is, it can only be in one place at one time. It can't be doing multiple things. That should answer the question.
Perfect. Moving on to question by, I have no idea how to say that. Each doer say swear. What references the team have, and how long are they in the space, and to keep up on the long-term perspective of the project? So this is kind of a long-winded question. What references the team have? I'm assuming he's talking about to gaming and maybe blockchain, and then what does it look like for supporting the Warrior Alliance Dawn of Retribution game long term look like?
Tony,
I don't get what he's trying to say. Like,
Yeah.
what reference? What do you mean? I don't understand what reference. Like, you're saying, like, what games has the Big Toast worked on before? Like, what references?
I think it might not be a natively English speaking person,
Yeah.
but I think what he's trying to get at here is how long has and Darren, you've kind of talked about this a couple times now, how long you've been in the space, so you don't need to answer that part. But maybe as far as supporting the project long term, what's that going to look like for Tipping Toast once this game is released and fully playable? We're out of testing. Who's going to manage and keep the game up to date?
Yeah, so hopefully we are the in pocket development team for you guys. love Tony, love his projects, and I hope that he enjoys what we put out for him. So I'm here indefinitely. I love this project. I love combat games. I love designing weapons. I love designing combat scenarios, and so I'm here indefinitely and for the long run. And it's a passion for me. So unless Tony decides to just kick me out of here, I'm here for the whole time.
Yeah, great answer. Absolutely. Tony's working with Darren, and Darren's working with Tony because they want to work together. It's a business relationship, and I'm sure they want to make that last as long as it works for both parties. So, moving on to a question from Day. I'll answer this one quickly. It's real short. Those with Genesis, do we need to have the teal role in Discord in order to take advantage of some of the buy one get one on standards, or is having it in our wallets good enough? Holding it in your wallets is good enough. You do not need the Discord role. Chubby's asked, will there be more notice on mint day or similar to the stealth launch? Stay tuned for details on that. We're not going to do quite as aggressive of a stealth launch as we did last time. Captain Warrior 204-205 asked, what type of loot can we expect to see whenever someone gets taken out of the game? So this is probably another question for Tony here, because Darren is going to implement whatever style we're looking for. So Tony, when someone gets killed, what are they going to be able to take off of that person, and how is that killed player going to be affected?
So we don't have the details on that yet. That's very, very far along. There's a million and one details that we have to go into. When we get there, as the gameplay evolves, remember when you're dealing with people's money, it's a different story. It's a different animal. So we have to make sure that it's fair. Number one, we have to make sure that it's going to be equal across the board, right? Almost as if you're entering a tournament and you have to register for a tournament. Everybody puts in a certain amount of money to play that tournament. You know what I mean? So that way, this guy doesn't have 60 and this guy has 40 and so on and so forth. So that's definitely going to put in. We have to make sure too that we have specific things in place for bots and scammers, right? People stealing money. We have to make sure we have certain things in place for that as well. So there's just so many details that are going to go into playing or designing this game. But I assure you, I'm a fair kind of guy, right? And especially when it's dealing with money, that we're going to be doing, I will be doing everything in my power to make sure that everything is done the right way. That's why I'm bringing on Geeks and Gamers, where they have, I think it's up to 40 professional streamers on their team that are be helping us with this game to make sure that it's done the right way. So, I hope that answers your question.
Really quick, did you want me to address the cheat system that we're going to implement?
Yeah, you can talk a little bit about it.
Okay.
Just say more or less what we're going to start off, using just to make sure.
Yeah, basically what we're going to use, guys, if you're a seasoned Steam gamer or just gamer in general, is the EAC system, the Easy Anti-Cheat. So it's very well known. Obviously, certain people can always slip by, and then we have to rectify that and clean it up. And that's what we do as the development team. We're going to be kind of overwatch on everything. So, but Easy Anti-Cheat's pretty solid, and that's where we're planning to do on covering the cheating system on this build so far.
Perfect. Ol McCracken asks, how will this be better or different from games like Call of Duty or Rainbow Six Siege as far as realism or immersion goes? So that's kind of a tag team question there. Tony, if you want to talk about your vision for the game as far as realism and immersiveness goes, where do you think this falls in line with Call of Duty, Rainbow Six Siege, and other titles?
So it's going to be a pretty immersive game. I don't want to, like, the characters, since we're giving people a chance to do demigods. It's not going to be so hardcore military. The game is in 2035, so it's going to be a mix of now and the future, right? So there are going to be people that have weaponry that is now, like an AR-15, for example, an AK-47, for example. But there may be weapons in the game that are futuristic type style weapons, because the game is technically 10 years ahead, right? And I wanted to do that on purpose because there are so many people that love futuristic games. At the same time, there's very people that love realistic games. So if I have in this community, I have people that love both type of games. Why not bring it, to life? And then you are going to have these demigods that are going to be in different masks, different phases, different things. They're going to have different armor. Some of them are going to be certain styles and this and that. I didn't want to limit that to like hardcore Rainbow Six where it's like all tactical stuff, right? Or like a Call of Duty where it's all tactical as well. That's my vision for it. I want to kind of have it where it's an ultra reality of between now and what possibly could happen in the next 10 to 15 years of technology.
Right.
Perfect.
If I can I join in a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going underground with this cool underground city style. It's gonna be a little bit different than some of the stuff you've ever seen. We're not necessarily saying anything's better than anything out there. We're competing and making just a badass game. So these guys come to the table with $10 million, $15 million, but they're still gonna have to compete with us. I mean, we're gonna make we're here making a really cool, fun game, and we're gonna keep scaling it and making it bigger and bigger with your support. But this is going a different direction. Call of Duty, you got your basic stuff. They keep kind of flushing through the system and doing the basic stuff. Shipyard, and there's a yacht, and all that stuff, and city and all that. But we're going underground, Demolition Man. If you guys remember the movie Demolition Man, we're going underground, dirty, raw pipes, steam, just dirt everywhere. So it's going to be a lot.
I guarantee you, somebody's going to be YouTubing that. Because there's a lot of younger people that have never seen Demolition Man.
Yeah, look up Demolition Man.
Yeah, Demolition Man was a movie in the 90s, right? In the 90s? Was it the 90s?
Yeah, 90s, yeah.
In the 90s with Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes. Phenomenal movie when it came out in the 90s. And I told you guys that, it's going to be built in the undercities, right? It was an underworld. And the main reason I wanted to do that, and when me and Darren spoke about it, it's because the truth is that in an underworld, the vision, or it's pretty much whatever world you want to make. You're not stuck to just your basic New York, or your basic San Francisco, or your basic Miami, right? Now you're creating worlds, and your vision is limitless on what you can actually do there. So every city that we go to, every undercity, and every level we build or whatever, it's going to be something that you've never seen before. It's going to be something creative, something different. And I wanted to the environment to be something that you enjoy playing and you enjoy seeing. It's like, wow, this is crazy. They put a ton of detail and a ton of effort into this, these environments. It's just not another apocalyptic style New York or apocalyptic style San Francisco, So that was the goal and the vision.
Yeah, we're gonna. I mean, I'm a total nerd for that movie. Except, one of the greatest things in that movie was also everything became a Taco Bell, which is a wonderful future. And I think Arnold Schwarzenegger was the president. So Sandra Bullock's also in it. But we're gonna get. I mean, I'm all about the underground stuff. I'm a big Mad Max fan. Back in the day, Captain Walker, Mel Gibson stuff way back in the day. If you remember Mad Max. And Beyond Thunderdome and all that. So you got a guy that really knows the detail and a lot of that underground stuff. I've lived it and breathed it and been a super nerd about it for years. So when you see the concept art, you're gonna love it, because when we get this going, everyone's gonna see the concept art samples first. And I'm assuming Tony and his team are gonna obviously get some feedback on that, but we're going to throw out all that artwork, get you super excited about it first before any kind of modeling happens. And I think you're going to just love the whole process.
Real quick, I want to cover something that was brought up on the general chat. So guys, understand this. When you're doing a looting style of a game, which this will be a looting style of a game, whatever we plan on doing, whether it be a player versus player, deathmatch and stuff, right? What you're bringing into that, for one thing, I can tell you this. If you get killed, you will never lose your NFT. You're never going to lose your main NFT that you paid for. Understand that. The only way that you can lose your NFT is by selling it on OpenSea, right? Once you bought it. The crypto or the tokens that's attached to that NFT in the game, when you go on these missions or you go on these tournaments or you're doing a player versus player, everybody's going to bring in a certain amount of crypto, right? A certain amount to play that mission, to do that mission. Just like in real life, you would take a certain amount of weapons, a certain amount of things. If you lose, if you get beaten in that game or you die in that game, you are still going to have everything. You're just going to lose a token, or perhaps some NFTs, not NFTs, but assets that you've gained playing in the game. Not only NFTs, right? Because you're going to have your weapon NFT that you paid for. There's going to be certain things that you will not be able to lose. But I don't want everybody to freak out, right? But it's almost as if you were to think about gambling, right? It's as good as you are. If you're a good player, if you know that you're good, and you go into with a certain amount of tokens, and this is what I could lose. This is what I'm willing to lose, and this is what I want to play with. Okay, well then when you go into that game, you have to be willing to lose if you're not going to win. And let's say it's $20 that you have to get in there. Well, everybody has a chance to lose $20, and that's the whole point. So, Chrono, I saw you talking about the general chat. I'm responding to you. That like in RuneScape, where you have your own vault or you have your own house or apartment, however we're going to end up doing it. That's where you're going to keep all of your stuff. It's not everything you have in your wallet. So I don't want anybody to freak out about that. I just wanted to bring that up. But go ahead, keep going, Josh.
Yeah, Captain also asked how many players will be allowed in a match. Is it going to be like 30 on 30, 20 on 20, or more? I think that really depends on the game modes we implement. Obviously, we're starting simple for testing purposes, but what do you envision, Tony, on like the biggest scale, what we could potentially see for the amount of players on one given match?
The scale is going to, as the game gets bigger and bigger and bigger, the scale will continue to rise up, right? What did we talk about, Darren? It was for the beta version. I know we spoke a little bit about it.
For which part?
For the beta version, the PvP, we talked about a full battle royale. What were we talking about? How many? I can't remember right now.
Okay, so for the beta, I know we have team deathmatch going on.
Okay.
We talked about battle royale. I know we're starting small at battle royale just because we want. This is all about dipping your foot in there and making sure that the servers can handle it, see how the code works, see how the models work, see how the gunplay works. So I think we're doing like 25 versus 25. I think on the battle royale first start, but I mean we can scale it up as big as you want. But we were starting with tutorial, team deathmatch, and we wanted to dip our toe into the battle royale at a small scale.
Yeah, I didn't want to go too big because
Yeah.
what happens is you go too big too fast, then it's going to be hard to get that amount of players, right? Not everybody's going to be playing at the same time. So the smaller you are, the better it is. You know what I mean? In regards for like a battle royale, you're going to get more tournaments going quicker and faster, right? So I think we're going with that. 25 against 25, something like that. Hope that answers the question.
Yeah, that's great. Rick Scott asked on the roadmap on our Warrior Alliance.
Rick Scott's in here, the former governor of Florida.
Yeah, I guess so.
Good.
And he wants to know. There's a link to MetaOps gameplay on our roadmap just for some information about what's possible and who we're working with. So he asked, what's the relationship between MetaOps and Warrior Alliance? Is Toast the game developer for MetaOps? And if so, will the MetaOps game engine be the basis for Dawn of Retribution?
That's a good question.
Whoa. Okay, you lost me there a little bit. Go ahead. Say it again, Josh. Sorry, I was reading something. Ask one more question. Ask it again.
The question is, there's a link to the MetaOps gameplay on our roadmap on WarriorAlliance.io. So his question is, what's the relationship between MetaOps and Warrior Alliance? Is Toast the game developer for MetaOps? And if so, will the MetaOps game engine be the basis for Dawn of Retribution?
You want to answer that, Darren?
Yes. Okay. So MetaOps is, full disclosure, it's a title that we were developing before I met Tony. Same space, NFT space, combat, things like that. This was just a reference on what we can do as a team to show you guys, those that are investing and spending money to be involved in this project, what we have done in the past. It's a project that we're closing soon, and wishing them well. And then we're moving on to the next phase, which is the Warrior Alliance. So this is basically a portfolio item, kind of to show you guys, if you were curious on how we could build the game, what our capabilities are with 3D modeling, hit markers, POV cameras, AI bot design. This was just something to show you guys on, hey, this is what has been done in the past, and this is there's new things coming. But we're going a different direction for Warrior Alliance. We're beefing it up. We're stepping it up. The Meta Ops was built in Unity, and so we're going into Unreal Engine for this one, and we're going to be refining the graphics. We're going to be getting a more crisp gameplay, and bigger and better blueprints for the gameplay. So we're going the Unreal Engine side of this. There's nothing really at all involved with Meta Ops at all. It has nothing really to do with it at all. It's just kind of a sample for you guys to see what we could do as a team and get you guys comfortable with the way we design.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so to summarize that, there's not really any affiliation other than Darren and his team developed what you saw for Meta Ops there. And it's not, as of right now, they won't be on the same engine, but, game engines, you can build multiple games on the same game engine, and doesn't mean they're going to look the same. So it's entirely up to the talent of the dev team and the assets
Yeah,
we use.
let me jump in there real quick. Sorry, I apologize.
Sure.
Meta Ops had a lot of pre-made models, by the way, guys. If you know pre-made models and the pre-made market out there, we're going full custom. So Tony told me it's got to be the best it can be. So we're doing full model custom. We're doing everything by hand. We're doing there's no pre-made in this game when it comes out fully. So the stuff you see is custom made for everybody by us, animated, rigged, custom sound, 13-piece orchestra making custom music, everything. The Meta Ops is a very, very juvenile, basic look at what can be done, but they wanted to stay basic. We're going above that and beyond that, and we're pushing the limit with Unreal. But it's going to be all custom in this one. So you're going to see all weapons fully designed custom, bullets designed, action, safeties, everything you see on the gun is going to be fully custom. Just so you know that.
Awesome. Captain, with more questions here. Will the weapons have infinite ammo, or will we need to find ammo around the map or loot from bodies? Tony, it sounds like we are very much headed in the direction of looting for most of these game modes. Would that be correct to assume that if they go into a map with limited ammo, they might be stuck scavenging off bodies?
Well, in the real world, every operation I ever went to, I was only allowed. I can only bring the ammo that I could carry, right? So I had a limited supply of ammo. And this game will be no different. You will start with a certain amount of ammo, and then everything else to continue the game, you're probably going to have to find it, just like you would in a real op.
Perfect.
So there you go.
I'm gonna skip over some of these questions that we've already answered above. As far as game modes go, we are gonna launch with some basic training in beta and team deathmatch, and we'll build off of that. So don't expect 10 different game modes on beta launch. There are power-ups in the game. They're not really so much power-ups as they are special abilities, and as Tony explained earlier, there's not a whole lot of information that we've released about how they'll work. It will require a lot of R&D and balancing so that they aren't overpowered. So those can change even as we implement them into the game for testing. Travis asked, how is weapon balancing going to work? Will there be tiers of weapons similar to Fortnite? And will they be more in line with Call of Duty or Halo style with attachments? I think he's asking more futuristic or more realistic models that you'll find in Call of Duty.
Actually, it's going to be a mixture of both. So you're going to have some futuristic style weapons, and you will have some like regular realistic style weapons. Remember, because the game itself is starting 10 years from now. So I'm pretty sure that our technology from now to like 10 to 15 years will have changed a little bit. So we're going to be adding some futuristic stuff to there. Now, what are you talking about? Like if you're saying like lasers and all that type of stuff, I haven't decided on that yet. Most likely it will all stay real life ammo, just different looking cosmetic style, futuristic style weapons. But you never know. You never know.
I'm excited to do lasers and futuristic weapons. Just let me know. I'm all about it. So I hope that happens. Just telling you.
What else we got, Josh?
Sure. will it be strictly head-to-head gameplay by Jay Francis, or will there be opportunities to move through a storyline as well? Do we have plans for a campaign, single-player experience, or is it going to be strictly multiplayer?
Great question.
No, it's definitely there is gonna be a third person PvE mode. So my goal is for someone to it's not gonna be like a RPG, right? Where it has this complete storyline, you know what I mean? This crazy storyline, but you will be able to go to different levels playing on third person shooter. I want to make some kind of story where you can play on your own. I believe that a lot of people that have never played the game before or that want to get better at the game should have a chance to play a story mode style first before playing like a player versus player, right? Where they get more comfortable, they get better at the game. And then from there, they can actually go from like free to play to like actual play to earn. You know what I mean? So kind of like in steps, you know? So yes, there will be definitely a PvE mode in the future.
Sure. Moving on, Billow Zipper asks, when renting, staking, or playing the game with your character, can that character be secured in a hardware wallet at the same time? That is a good question. I don't know if anyone here has the answer to that at this time.
Yeah, we don't have the answer to that. That's going to come at a future time. I would have to wait for our developer, our blockchain developer. He's the one that would probably be able to answer that. So
Yeah, definitely.
that'll
Great
be
question.
That's a good question though. By the way, it's good. It's a good question.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to clarify that one for you and put it in an FAQ at some point in the future when we get a little closer to seeing how that implements. Yeah, we just don't want to give the wrong information on that right now. Chrono asks, for passive yields, are NFTs, characters, and items being locked up in an actual staking system, or does just holding them earn yields? So am I going to have to interact with a Web3 protocol that says I'm moving this to a staking platform and I cannot trade it, sell it, use it while it's being staked? Or do I just hold it in my wallet and I will earn passive yields? Tony or
Yeah, Tony, that's a Tony
Yeah, that's
question.
going to be a question for me. That's a good question. Most likely, it's going to be like that. That you're going to have to pretty much put it somewhere and hold it there to get the yield. Okay. If we can somehow or some way do it some other way, then I'm going to find out for you. I'm going to find that answer for you. But most of the time, correct me if I'm wrong, Josh. Most of the time, you have to put it somewhere and just leave it there, so that it cannot be messed with while it's being staked.
Yeah, no, I've seen both work. It comes down to two things: what the limitations and how it interacts with our game, and also balancing. If we want somebody to be able to stake and yield returns that way, is it going to throw off the economy if they're able to also play the game and make a lot of money with their character and earn an accelerated amount of yields, or do we want to limit that to keep the economy healthy? So I think that's going to be a two-part thing. It's going to come down to what we can limit with our game and making sure everything's fully implemented with our dev and we don't run into any errors with that. And then two, what the balancing for the token economy will look like as well. So we can move on from there. That was a great question. Tony, will we be able to, from Chrono as well, will we be able to purchase pets, or are those exclusive to those lucky enough to have gotten one from their tag burn?
Yeah, the pets are generated, so you will not be able to purchase a pet in the future unless you purchased a NFT that has a pet from OpenSea. And the main reason I wanted to do that because since the pets will have utility in the game, I wanted to make it auto-generated, whether it's you got lucky if you got it or not, or you have to buy one later on at in the OpenSea, obviously. You know what I mean? But that's up to you, right? At that point, someone else is saying, hey, I don't want it anymore. Now you have to go buy it if you didn't get it when you minted.
Yeah, great answer. And I think a lot of this is going to be dependent on balancing, guys, because this is a game. There's possibilities to really do anything and change things as we go. So we don't want to give a specific example as to what you can and can't do with some of these assets because there's a chance in the future that we do have a pets collection or something like that. Nothing is 100% set in stone when it comes to future collections. So as of right now, the only way you will be able to obtain them is if you got them from your NFT generation. But things could change in the future, and obviously we'll make you guys all aware of that. Billow Zipper asked, if Ethereum becomes obsolete because of the fees, how would this impact our NFTs? Could they be converted to another token format?
So for the game, we were planning on bridging it to a different token, anyways. So the main NFTs will always be on Ethereum, but then gameplay and all of that type of stuff will be bridged. Possibly, I don't want to give you. It's not 100% sure that it will be Polygon, okay? But it seems to be like what everybody likes to go to. So we will be bridging it to something that doesn't have such high gas fees, unless Ethereum 2.0 comes out or whatever. But it will have a bridge to something else for the game, just so that you guys know that the gas fees and all the transactions that you're doing is not going to be the same, when you're playing the game and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, great answer, Tony. Once again, nothing's out of the realm of possibilities, but I would like to say we have a very talented developer that has, I think he impressed everyone on the fact that we can burn our tags without gas. So should gas be reasonable, and the limitations of what we can implement from a developer standpoint from blockchain and Web3 with the game, obviously if we don't have to migrate to another network, we would avoid that. Cameron has asked, will only NFT holders be able to test the beta in ideally 10 months, or does the free-to-play side start immediately by allowing the public to test it also? I know we talked about this recently in a conference call about at what stage are we going to implement play to earn, because there's a lot of testing. So Tony and Darren, do you guys have an idea or timeline as to when it comes into place that you will be able to test and use your NFT? And are we going to allow people that are play to earn? This is more for Tony. Play to free to play, to test the game before as well.
For some reason, Josh, you keep coming up on my mic. You keep coming up like all over the place, like you're trying to get rugged, but you're not. Darren, are you having problems hearing him too, or is it just me?
No, I can hear him fine.
Okay, so it's just probably me then. I got some of that, but the other stuff I didn't get. Josh,
Sure.
can you ask?
Yeah,
Just ask the part that
I'll
I need to
shorten that.
answer.
I'll shorten that, and I'll
Alright.
break it up for you. So, will only NFT holders be able to test the game, the beta of the game, in 10 months? Or will we also allow people that don't hold an NFT to be able to test the game in beta?
Oh, the only people that will be testing the game in beta that are not NFT holders, or plus you don't have an NFT, are probably going to be some of the streamers for Geeks and Gamers. But 90% of the people, 90 to 95% of the people will be NFT holders that will be able to test the game in beta.
Perfect. Yeah. So, and I'll also add on to that. We're not going to implement play to earn before things are stable, balanced. There's no bugs and glitchiness. We don't want anyone losing money because of flaws in the game. So when we're testing, you will need to hold an NFT to participate. But we're not sure 100% yet at what stage in that timeline are you going to be able to earn or lose money, because obviously we don't want to have somebody lose it unfairly. So I hope that answers your question, Cameron. Tony, Eddie asks, ETA for ammo and tank drop. To be continued on that one. We're pretty reserved with our launch dates and timelines. I'll let you add to that.
We're planning for quarter one on ammo. Are you talking about on the crypto, right? On our token? Is
He
that what
asked
he's talking
for
about?
ammo and the tank drop. I think he's talking about the boxes.
The boxes. Just quarter one. That's the only thing I can tell you. Quarter one. I can't tell you an exact date.
Perfect. Yeah. We're very reserved with our time slots. So if you haven't picked up on that trend by now, we like to keep things loaded and on reserve. Splat asked, will the weapons be customizable? I think we touched on this earlier. For instance, most guns are locked to certain stats. It would be nice to customize the guns like in real life. Who wouldn't want a pistol with a mini rocket attachment? Well, that's That's an extreme attachment at that point. Tony, what's your vision for the weapons and the level of customizability? Are we going for more realistic customization, or can somebody put a mini rocket attachment on their pistol? We might have lost Tony here for a minute.
Hold on, because my headphones just came off, and I have to listen on my ears now. Plug this in for me. Go ahead, ask the question again. I wasn't
Sure.
able to hear it.
No problem.
My headphones came off.
So Splat asked, what level of customization can we expect for our weapons? Obviously, most of the guns that we've seen in other games have, basic stats that they start with. What kind of customization can we expect? And what kind of craziness can they do? Is it going to be all realistic modifications to your weapons, or can somebody put a mini rocket attachment on something like a pistol?
There's gonna be different. Oh, I wouldn't say a rocket on a pistol, but there are gonna be some modifications to it. The realistic style weapons will have realistic style attachments to it. Meaning, for example, if you have an AR-15, you're gonna have an option of 2 or 3 different optics. You're gonna have backup sights on it. You're gonna have a light on it, a tactical light on it. You're gonna have possible an IR laser on it. On your rail, you're gonna be able to change the color of the rails. So I'm a huge gun when it comes to like that type of stuff. I'm really big on being realistic on those specific realistic style guns. Now, when it comes to like the futuristic stuff, the possibilities are endless there. Are we going to mix some stuff like in the realistic ones? Yeah, most likely. I like to add like cool little features to it too, but there are some things that are going to be. I wanted to give everybody options of different stuff, right? So when you pick your weapon, you're gonna say, what do you want? You want an EOTech or do you want an aim point? Or what light do you want? Do you want a Surefire or do you want an Enforce, right? So I want to be able to give people all these different options, on their guns, or like a full mag, or do you want like a 30-round mag, or do you want a full drum? So those type of things I'm going to be very specific about, just because of my weapons knowledge and my background and all that type of stuff. So I'm going to try my best to give as many options as possible when it comes to the weaponry.
Perfect. McCracken also asked, any plans for VR or console adaptation?
So the VR and the console adaptations will probably happen farther in the future. If it does happen, it's going to happen probably in 2023, 2024, because there are so many things we already have to do. Anything on a console, I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be very hard to get a play to earn on a console and get the licensing for that. I'm assuming when you say console, I'm assuming it means like Xbox or PlayStation, right? So all that type of stuff, it has to go on the free-to-play version only, right? So if that happens, it's going to be in the future, and it would be only the free-to-play version, because it will be a legal nightmare to go against some of these owners,
everyone
whoever owns Xbox.
they're just it's too new for them, and they're not ready to get into it yet. They want to take your money in other ways right now, but they're not ready to do this yet. But
but
the
VR,
consoles later.
I would say the VR would probably, with the metaverse and everything coming out, that's a huge thing for us. That's going to be a direct line there. So, but for sure, that's going to happen.
Yeah, sorry, Tony, I had a little delay.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So we do. Our team develops in VR. We're ready to do it for Oculus Quest 2 and anything to follow. So when Tony gives me the nod to do it, we can port over to anything. We're talking mobile, we're talking VR, anything you guys want. Just as long as we don't have any red tape by people not understanding NFTs and just not wanting to do it. So if everyone's cool with it and they're ready to go, I mean, we can port in any platform you guys want. So we're really here to listen to the community and build whatever you guys need. So that's that.
Awesome. Swayze asked, this is a loaded question. Doesn't saying you get passive income and make money from holding an NFT make it a security? Don't we want to be pushing a valueless token for exchange? I feel we could get into some troublesome spot down the road. So, Tony, what are we looking at as far as legality with holding something that could be considered a security, and what that means for Warrior Alliance?
We've already checked with our legal team. and everything that we're going to be doing is going to be legal on our end. Okay. Now, if you're, wherever you are in the world, depending on what you can and cannot do, there's going to be a disclaimer on what you can and cannot do. But on our end, we're going to be good to go. We've already checked with the legal team, with our legal department, and we know exactly how to make things, how to stake it, how to do this and how to do that, without going into details, to make sure that we're covered on the project end, right? But obviously, we're depending where you live will be depending on what laws you have to abide for. So that's going to be up to you.
Perfect. Jay Francis, you asked, is there or will there be a place to see what makes our warriors more rare, different animals, pants colors, etc.? Yeah, we'll have some tools like that available in the future. There's a couple different options. One, OpenSea lets you see rarity for your traits in the properties, as well as there's potential for us to get a rarity bot in the Discord in the future. But for now, OpenSea does, I believe, does everything you're looking for. Let's see. King Crypto, can I move my Genesis to my hardware wallet and still get drops? I believe you shouldn't have any issues with drops. But as we said earlier, when it comes to hardware wallets, we want to get full confirmation from our dev. But from what I've heard, having it in a hardware wallet shouldn't affect that. But wait for that to show up in the FAQ, because we don't want to give an incorrect answer on that. Will a Genesis still yield if no one wants to use your warrior? By S. Guzman. Tony, if I have a Genesis, or any warrior for that matter, am I going to yield rewards even if nobody is renting it from me or is using my NFT?
You want to answer that, Josh? You know the answer to that.
Yeah, there's going to be several ways to make additional passive income with your NFT. There will be renting and there will be staking and earning yields that way. So when you're staking, you'll still earn a yield on that. And depending on the tier that you hold, you get a higher percentage on that. So yes. Cameron asked again, to determine the extent of customization with the demigods, is it possible to create a character that resembles someone like Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe? Black samurai suit, headgear with the red stripe over the eye, samurai swords on the back, and the handles visible from the front. Very detailed. What kind of limitations are we going to face with demigods, Tony? Is someone going to be able to have, swords hanging off their back? Probably not going to be able to be used in game, but something that adds to the appearance that is more than what we see on the warriors that we have now.
Yes. So demigod will be custom. So if he wants a snake eyes, as long as it's a warrior, right, and it's not like a rhinoceros, you get me? So if it's a human being, or you'll be able to get these custom human. Yes, and another thing too, if you're putting swords on your character as a demigod, doesn't mean that just because you put the swords, you're going to be able to use the swords, right? Because there's going to be only certain weapons or things that you can and cannot use.
Right.
Will there be swords in the game? It's a very high probability that there will be. So just letting you know there.
Cool. Splat asked if we will have cross-platform from PC to PS5 or Xbox. That's a great question. As explained earlier, probably not going to be able to earn any, do the play to earn side of it. But the free-to-play side, when it's available on console, is that going to be cross-platform? And I guess that comes down to Tony. What's your vision for that cross-platform? And Darren, what's your opinion on that?
Well, cross-platform is the same thing we talked about, right? Xbox and all these other things.
Yeah, are PC players going to be able to play against Xbox and PlayStation
Yeah,
players?
yeah. So, oh, sorry,
That's
Tony. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, that's more for you, Darren. You're gonna be you answer that.
It's a interesting subject. So we're doing console later. It's a plan for it. As long as nothing happens to where we're, there's not really crossplay if we don't get accepted into the console community. It's just that NFTs, people are opening themselves up to it slowly. I don't know if Xbox allows it yet. I haven't really peeked in on what they're doing yet. But I can build anything they want. So just to let you know, it can be built as long as we have the proper access. So we do cross-player platform stuff all the time, especially to build player bases. If if someone wants to kind of go beyond Steam or where they want to go, they want to cross-platform it, we can connect it as long as we have the legal permission to do it. We can bring this game cross-platform.
Awesome.
Would it be an issue if we have a free-to-play version, but it's only PC, right? Let's just say it's only PC. Are other people still able to play? Let's say if they have an Xbox or whatever, could they still play it on the Xbox, even though it's not an Xbox game? Darren?
No, I wouldn't recommend it unless you have some kind of workaround on Xbox, and usually that's kind of a modded or a hack situation. I wouldn't mess with that. The only way really to get on the way we transfer our titles to console is going through the approval system. So
Okay.
I would say
So you
this:
have
the
to
way to
exit.
do it, the way to do it kind of without that kind of feel of Big Brother over you. Those big consoles, they have a lot of red tape to go through. Steam is great for that kind of stuff. We could do private servers for a while if you want to kind of test it with the community. We could do private servers, and it's the Wild West. We can do whatever we want on private servers. So we could have a great testing ground and a sandbox situation where we get some AWS servers together and we just test it privately. Which going private is there's no regulation, so we can have a good time there. But when you start introducing it into the console world, I can't really speak for what's going to be allowed and not allowed, but I can connect the cross-platform through a private server test area before we kind of get to the big time.
Interesting. That's cool.
Yeah.
Chrono asked if there's plans for AR VR experience. We talked about that earlier. That is coming hopefully in the future. Priority is PC release and having everything fully functional. And down the road, we're looking at AR and console stuff. I guess this is probably a question for Darren and your team. Huckmad asked, is there a game you guys have made before? You want to tell them a little bit about what you guys have worked on?
Is there a game? I mean, I've made every kind of game, from children's games to just funny farting games, goofy games, to online shooters. We worked with Ubisoft, and we worked at Assassin's Creed Black Flag. We worked with Walking Dead 400 Days on Steam. So we've done everything from, we do a lot of client private builds. So the way we work is we do a lot of private builds for people who want to launch their product, like Tony, right? Private guy that wants to launch his own product, and we build it with him. And then we get people knocking on our door like EA. We live in Florida. We're based in Florida, so we have EA Tiburon here in Florida, and they contract us, independent agencies, to help out with the title. But I've built so many of them to kind of go to. I don't know what you mean. You mean like shooters, Josh? Do you want me to talk about like shooters I built?
I think he was, I'm guessing, obviously, that he's asking if there's any game titles that he might recognize that you guys have made before. So you touched on a little bit about some of the titles you've worked on that are a little bit more popular.
Yeah, we did, so for Assassin's Creed we did motion capture targeting. We did body movement. So if you played Black Flag, the movement of the characters, we did the movement of the characters. So when the characters did their basic animation cycles, we were independently contracted to do that part. In 400 Days, Walking Dead, we did the zombie design and zombie animations. So anything you see zombies doing, we did that part, but we didn't build the entire game. So when you talk about big titles, we usually do modular things that we're contracted for. Like if you're building a house, we're the tile guys, right? We'll do the tile in your bathroom, we'll do tile in your kitchen. So we did modular 3D animation, 3D development, maybe sound effects, visual effects. As far as full game development, it's tough to point to it because we do a lot of development, but it's a very big risk. It's a big adventure for someone to get into a full game build. We have I can link stuff, and we can post that if you want to, Josh, somewhere, or I can, my portfolio, and you can see just hundreds and hundreds of things that we've done. But
The
for
thing is
someone
that
to yeah, go
people,
ahead.
I wanted to cut in here. A lot
Yeah.
of people think like when Epic Games makes a video game, for example, or Ubisoft, these people, that it's them making, like, they make the whole game, and that's
Mhm.
very, very untrue.
Mhm.
They literally subcontract half of the game out. You know that, Darren. I know that they use people from all
Yeah.
around the world for all different aspects of the game. So, with that said, if you're a huge game developer and you're subcontracting people all around the world that aren't part of your employee roster, then what does that say? That tells you that every single game development company uses subcontractors to do their game. That's just how it works. Now,
Yeah.
every game development company has their employees, they're right, they're people that they use on a 20, all the time, but they're always going to use consultants. They're always going to use people that they contract in from other places because they have specialties in whatever they do, So I wanted to make that a point, and I learned that in the last 6 or 7 months, because of my Call of Duty, how can I say, me being in the Call of Duty world and me being a character in Call of Duty and talking to a lot of the people in this world, you know what I mean? All these different game developers and people that just do modeling and all this type of stuff. So
Yeah,
wanted
it's just to tell you this, some people, they get into the ego realm of, my company did it and I'm only going to do my company. But the way we work is we have our staff, right? But if some guy that we can bring in that we know that's done something amazing in another title, if he can make this game the best it can be, we're going to bring him in, and it's for the end project overall, right? So it's like what they used to say in Sons of Anarchy, for the club, right? It's like for the end goal. So if I have to bring in one of the best 3D modelers and 3D animators I've ever seen, but he's not on my staff, I'm not going to stick to my ego going, well, he's not a part of our team. I'm just going to go, let's get together. Let's make this game kick ass. And, thank you for joining in. And that's the way EA sees it. And that's the way Ubisoft sees it. They brought us in because we were one of the best in the United States with what we did. So they sent us a message and they said, look, we need 300 zombies. We need this now. And we did it. And it made the game great. So, but yeah, that's kind of the story there. But as far as games, like titles to point to, all I can say is I've really cultivated and made a beautiful portfolio for my company. So if you do want to see it, I don't know if you want to do, Josh or Tony, a private message to him, or maybe just link to him what we've done. And it's fully out there on the internet. It's out there. You can see everything we've done.
Is that you want us to link directly to Tipping Toast's website?
Yeah, I've kind of got like a bulk link thing. Do you want me to post it somewhere? Is there like a live chat here?
You'll get wrecked by the bot if you want to DM it to me.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
post it for you.
Yeah, let me DM it to you, and then Josh will pass it on to you guys. It's pretty much, we have a lot of NDAs, so that's the double-edged sword of this business, right? So someone wants to go, "What have you done in the past?" But then my clients go, "Hey, don't show any of my stuff," right? So that's kind of what we're dealing with. So I'm gonna DM Josh the link here, and he can post it out to you guys. Hold on 1 second. Okay, Josh, let me send it over to you right now. Okay.
Perfect. I'll get that posted for you guys. Yep.
Keep going with the questions, Josh.
Yeah, go ahead.
We can handle that later.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'll
go
get
ahead.
that up.
Make sure we get everybody.
I'll get that
Sure,
up in the
sure.
announcements for you guys later. Let's see. Lost my place here. Where are we at? So, can I still get a drop if I don't create character and still have the tag? I'll make that quick. Normally, probably not. We might be a little bit more lenient for this first drop just because mobile isn't fully supported. We don't want anyone on mobile to not be eligible, but we'll have more details for that in the future. This first drop, I think we're going to be a bit more lenient, but yes, in the future, you may be ineligible for drops. Chrono 1000 asks, will there be any licensed firearms, or are the weapons strictly fictional? Tony?
When you say licensed firearms, I'm assuming like you're saying like Glock or Six Sword.
Name brand, yeah. Are we going to have license to use name brand guns that we wouldn't normally be able to use legally without permission?
Well, I could tell you like this, right? Coming from the Call of Duty world, every single gun they have on there isn't licensed, and they're all the same exact guns, right? So if you go through their gun roster, they're all SIGs and Glocks. They just call it a different name, right? Warrior Alliance is going to be doing something a little bit different than what all the other games have been doing, and I'm doing it mainly just for the branding aspect of it. I'm very, very embedded in the tactical industry, so if there may be a chance that you may be using a real SIG Sawyer in the game, right? A real SIG, and it's going to have the branding SIG on it. There's going to be certain brands that will have real branding on them. But just to let you know, like most of the video games, even though they have the real, let's say you're using a SIG in the game, they're not going to be able to call it a SIG just because, or a Glock just because they're liable, right? of the trademark, of the patent, and all that type of stuff. But if you get the okay and it's all under contract and everything's taken care of, then you shouldn't have an issue, right? And that's where the networking and the connections come in. So that's the goal, right? To be able to say that these real guns are really actually in the game. So hopefully that's the future, man.
For sure. All right. Moving on here, we have are special abilities able to be changed at any point? Are they permanent once a character is selected? Tony, what's your vision for special abilities? Can they be changed in the future?
So technically, it's not really a special ability. It's the preferred ability that your character is going to start off with. Eventually, everybody will have it, right? That ability. It's not really a special ability. Everybody will have 5 different abilities in the game, and if you have your character, your NFT has that preferred ability, that's what you pick. That's what it's going to have, and it's always going to have that to have utility in the game when you play it, right? That's the goal. So it's going to start off with that utility, that actual preferred ability, and then you're going to have to work your way to get the other ones.
Perfect. And for anyone that was waiting for the links, I just dropped them in announcements for you guys to check out more stuff from Tipping Toast. Moving back into the questions here, we got what if we rent and they lose money? Do we have to pay that percentage out of renter's loss? If you guys are renting your NFT and somebody else is using it, you will not have a loss if somebody else dies with your NFT that you allowed them to rent. Muck says, where will the passive income yield come from? Sales from OpenSea, tournaments. So Tony, what's going to be our income and revenue to be able to pay out yields?
So we're going to have our own token that we will be launching first quarter.
Yep. So the token, there's various ways we can make money with the token. Most commonly will probably be a small percentage fee on swaps. We have multiple streams of income that we're going to use. So when you guys in the future can reassemble your NFTs and you use our armory builder, there's a high likelihood there will be a small fee associated with that using the token. And that will be another way that we have income to be able to pay out through yields and stuff like that. So the fee to use that isn't going to be anything astronomical, but collectively with everyone playing the game, those will stack up into a wallet that we use for payouts. Let's see, moving on. Bellevue84 asks, will there be a play-to-earn mode similar to Horde where you work with a team for survival? So, Tony, you're a big Gears of War guy. If you remember in Gears of War, there was a Horde game mode where you just had waves and waves of, kind of like Call of Duty Zombies, waves and waves of locusts coming at you, and your whole objective was to just survive and defeat them and not die. Any plans for a Horde-style game mode that people can also play-to-earn in?
It could happen in the future. Right now, my main goal is the beta version, and that's what I want to concentrate on. Once that beta version is 100, we have the free to play is going good, the play to earn is going good, then we can pretty much do whatever we want. So at that point, what we will do is go back to the community, figure out what the community would like, get all the feedback we get. We do everything by percentages, by polls, and then we go back to the drawing board and continue the updates on the game.
Perfect. You guys have some great questions. Outdoors 101. I want to preface this with, there's a lot of people working on the Warrior Alliance project, and some of these fine details, Tony and I may not have the answers for. So I'll let Tony take a stab at this, but I don't know the exact answer to this. Outdoors 101 asks, will there be a rental company or agreement for your player, or will it be on your own to find someone that wants to rent your player? So if somebody wants to allow their character to be rented, I'm assuming, Tony, and you can confirm or say you don't know, that we're going to have an interface protocol where they can put their character up for rent, and somebody can rent it from that same protocol, and there would be a small
Correct.
contract that handles that.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Xanas, we're not going to have exact details for this right now, how many legendaries can an individual mint on the main collection, but we will have announcements for that very soon. Tagger.eth, will there be any trailers or alpha footage coming out soon for marketing? Soon as in before the Gen 2 collection drop to give investors or collectors a visual what the team is building. Tony, do we have any sneak peeks or anything exciting to share about footage for the game at this time or in the near future?
Yes, we have some stuff coming out, and very soon. So stand by.
Yeah, so just to let you know, we're working on a kick-ass trailer. What we're doing is we're getting the action of some of the gunfire fixed in some of the promo, and we're getting the audio mixing done, and then that's going to be pushed out soon. As soon as I'm going to be probably delivering that to Tony tomorrow, and then we're doing it on a Wednesday hard day, right? Right, Tony? Hard stop on Wednesday.
Not 100% confirmed, but hopefully sometime
Okay.
this week.
Okay, so it's
Hopefully
coming
sometime
soon.
this week.
It's coming soon,
Coming
but
very soon. Yeah.
I can tell you, I've been developing it. It's gorgeous. It's going to come soon. It's going to really show you a good peek at what's ahead.
Awesome.
So you guys understand everything that we do, we try to strategize it the best way we can for the community. So you know, even though we might get something in hand, doesn't mean we launch it automatically. We may be holding it because we're having a marketing strategy to make sure that we're building all the hype we possibly can for everything. So hopefully this week, you know, we should be hopefully launching it this week.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's first heard here. Awesome.
If you do really quick, if you do want to see screenshots, though, go to the Warrior Alliance Twitter and you can see some screenshots. They did post that out, right, guys?
Yes, we did.
Yeah,
Yeah, you could
yeah.
definitely see some screenshots.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's probably some lingering here in the Discord if you check pins in general as well. There might be some stuff in the previews. Moving on, Jay Francis has a question, Tony. For the pets, will the generation be restricted to legendaries, or can I get a pet if I mint a premium or standard as well?
You can get a pet. You'll be able to get a pet for a premium standard as well.
Perfect. Eddie H asked, "Do we need to create character warriors to get drops?" I asked this, or I answered this earlier. We're going to probably be a little lenient for the first drop. Future drops, you will likely need to have already created your character, or you may not receive that. TNT Dad, will all pets be realistic, or will there be fantasy pets? Tony, do you have any plans to add, I guess, things like dragons and other types of fantasy pets in the game?
Oh, sorry, I dropped. Hold on. Am I muted or no?
You're unmuted.
Okay. I dropped you guys. I apologize. I dropped my phone. That's a possibility. I guess you're gonna have to wait and find out.
Awesome. Yeah, maybe we'll see some freaky futuristic pet, maybe a robot dog. That'd be cool.
I'm a big dragon guy. I love dragons. That's
Yeah,
all I'm gonna say.
the more I could say that I've done this with previous developments. You know, you start out with a good starting foundation, and then we can get as crazy as you guys want, as long as we have that support, and you guys really, you know, people are really loving the game and playing it. We can really move into a lot of different storylines and you know, cosmetics.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at the creativity we see in some of these other titles like Fortnite and even holiday events you see in some games. You can get really creative.
Yeah, Fortnite was dying on the vine before they put in Battle Royale. I mean, they weren't going to do well, but look what it's become after Battle Royale happened. It's amazing. Yeah.
Lil X asked, Tony mentioned having something similar to a vault or a bank in RuneScape that could potentially open up the possibility of people being lured for their tokens or items. Not quite sure what he means by that, being lured for their tokens or items. Will there be a set amount of tokens you agree to before playing? And how will looting play out with the items? Will I lose my items permanently? You kind of talked about mostly just the token is what you're gonna have to worry about.
Yeah, you know, when it comes to the vault, that's just for the game, right? So you're talking about when you click on the game, when you start the game, you go into that main character page, right? Well, that main character page will have like your actual character there in his vault, you know, with the weapons, with the guns, you know, there, and it's gonna be a lot of cosmetic stuff. Everything that it comes to the crypto or the token, all that, that's all gonna be you know, in your wallet. So it's never gonna be. It'll be in your wallet attached to the game, but it's not like somebody you can lure. Not gonna be able to lure you and take your stuff from your vault. You get me? That's just like cosmetics. When you look at the game, you're gonna be able to see what you have. but it's all going to be attached safely where it needs to be.
Perfect. OmaKraken asked another question. Will there be a possibility for high stakes pro league level, like BlizzCon or COD tourneys, where you have a qualifier or even buy in like poker tournaments? So I guess esports. What does
Absolutely.
that look like?
Yes. 100%. That is a
Awesome.
future. I had that in mind since the beginning. Always.
Definitely need to establish a stable game and a good backing from the community, but I think that would be a great addition. Esports.
Yeah.
You guys have some really good questions.
Yeah, for
Really
sure.
good yeah, really good question.
We're nearing the bottom, so if anyone in here is thinking of any questions, we're down to like less than 5 or 6. So if you guys have any burning questions that you haven't asked yet, drop them in the AMA questions as we make our way through the final few. Do we know if staking or renting will make more when we have multiple characters? Yeah, of course. If you're holding more characters, you're going to have the ability to earn yields at a multiplied rate. It's not going to my knowledge, Tony, you can chime in, you're not going to get like a multiplier if you're staking 3, but you will have 3 times as much of the yield if you're holding 3 legends versus 1 legend.
100%.
Perfect. Will the Pied Pumper asks, will the game yields or winnings be different for higher classes of NFT warriors? In other words, would it make someone want to rent a Genesis or Legendary over a Premium or Standard? So when you're playing the game and you win, are you going to get a better reward if you're playing with a Demigod or Genesis versus somebody playing with the Standard?
No.
So it just comes down to slight advantages and customizability with the higher NFTs and making more money in passively than playing.
Correct.
Perfect. Sweet T 102 asks, does the different generations have different in-game advantages? So Tony, does the Gen 1 versus Gen 2 have a different advantage in game?
No.
Perfect.
They will not. All of that generation and all that stuff is going to be in accordance to like passive income and then cosmetics, right? There will be no advantage in the game because you hold a demigod or this or that you're gonna have more powers or you're gonna be stronger or you're gonna be any of that type of stuff. Everybody there on that side is gonna be equal. Now cosmetics, yeah, because you have a Genesis or because you have this or you have that, you may end up getting things cosmetic stuff, right? That will be different than someone who just is a free to play or maybe like a standard, right? But at the end of the day, if you get a standard and you're not able to pick and you get generated or whatever, and then you go back into our army later on and want to pay for something different or whatever, you're going to be able to. So that's going to be another option.
Awesome. Thank you, Tony. Someone asked, a couple people actually asked, Demigod Pets, is that a possibility? And what does that look like if they're fully custom rigged?
That actually is a really good question. That's a really, really good question. Right now, there are no demigod pets, but that may be something that we would definitely look into the future. For the demigod, if your character has a pet, right? Most likely, I'm going to give you the chance to be able to transfer that pet that you have on those legends. You can, let's say you have 2 pets, for example. You can grab one of them and put them into your demigod. It's going to be the same pet because it's already going to be in the system, so it's not going to be a big deal. So that you don't lose that as a demigod, right? But to do another pet, that's going to be that most likely for right now, at least for the beta version, all that. That's not going to be possible. But in the future, will you possibly be able to get something else, maybe some fantasy type style or whatever that we don't have in the foundational series? Then yeah, it's possible. I love all the crazy stuff, guys. So like anything that's possible mentally, in the future of the game, when talking about 2 or 3 years later down the line, it's possible we're going to be coming up with other drops that will be other types of pets and other things like that. But the foundational pets won't change. Like you're not going to be able to do that in the beginning.
Awesome. Great question.
Yeah, that's actually really good. That
Yeah,
was a good one.
I definitely can see a system where the legends that you bred your demigod from, importing their pets. Like a family dog. You you inherited the family dog.
Yeah, right.
MBK201 asks, once the game is fully functional and is there plans to have a massive tournament live stream on Twitch? Well, if you guys know anything about Tony and how he likes to do things big, I think you can answer that yourself. But Tony, any plans to work out some big Twitch tournament?
Well, there's a reason why I'm bringing Geeks and Gamers on board. I think that should answer itself, right? I've always been, if I'm gonna go into something, I go all in, or just don't do it at all. So the bigger the better, right? The bigger the thing, I have a lot of personal friends that are huge Twitchers, and streamers and all kinds of stuff. So yes, that is in the future. Once the game is done and once we're all that, uh, as many the bigger influencers that I can get to make the community and make the NFTs more valuable, then that's exactly what we're going to do. Anything that we can do.
Yeah. One of the final questions we have is skins from Bless Mario, skins that have more of an environmental concealment. Any plans for ghillie suits and things that are going to help people blend in? Well, we're going to be underground, so I don't know if you're going to want a ghillie suit. But I don't know, Tony. You have any plans for cloaks and anything that can hide someone's visibility?
We'll come across that in the future.
Sure.
That's the game details that we don't have right now.
Karen asks, could the face mask players be considered more rare depending on how many of them are built in that way, or will there be an option to add the mask later? Well, the masks are tied to the faceless only, and if all the tags are burned and there's only, there's 80% purebloods and 20% faceless, then statistically, yes, they are more rare. Tony, any gameplay differences between purebloods and face masks? Because that statistic, a rarity, if you will, between face mask and pureblood, although there will be a statistic that differentiates which one is technically rarer, will it actually have any gameplay differences?
No, it will not have any gameplay differences. It will be statistically rarer, possibly in the NFT collection, so it maybe cost more money. But in regards to gameplay, it will be the same.
Perfect. Howie asked, will there be any type of leveling system and benefits, like getting stronger or being able to contain more abilities to be faster?
Say again. Any benefits to what?
So as you play, leveling up, are you going to get stronger, faster, better the more you play?
Yeah. So the abilities, it's going to be play to earn or earn to play, right? So you're going to have to earn it to get your abilities. You have to earn them. You have to play the game. So the more you play the game, the more chances you have are of gaining the other abilities. Just like in the real life, right? The more you do something, the better you becoming at, the more experience you have in it. How that's going to be exactly, we haven't determined that yet. But that's pretty much the gist of the game. I'm trying to make the game with these. I made the game with these abilities because in real life, I got so many complaints from Call of Duty, about how everybody was just, that how I could in real life jump and my character couldn't even jump over a rock. So there's certain things that I want to make these characters be able to do. If they become better in the game and they play more in the game, they earn the ability to chomp or to do this or become stronger or faster, right? Now, how long you're going to have that ability for, I don't know, or will you have it for a couple of seconds or for a minute or whatever, and it goes away or it stays, We haven't decided all those different types of things yet. But, you have to be able to give abilities to someone without them ruling the game. And that's what it comes down to, is trying to make the game as fair as possible, but same time giving these abilities to people.
Yeah, absolutely. We're definitely going to put Darren and his team through the ringer when it comes to balancing these things, for sure. We don't want anyone to have a too overpowered advantage or anything.
I'm ready for it. Just to let you know, I'm a big stickler for balance in the game. Even though when people say balance something, just really quick, I don't even know if it's possible to fully balance the game ever. I really don't, because there's so many different variables, right? But we can keep working on it, making the gameplay enjoyable and making sure everyone's still having a good time. But it takes the community, right? They got to let us know what's going on, and if something's kind of too overpowered, we'll get in there and fix it.
Awesome. I think we got maybe one more question, and they're slowly starting to pile back in, but we're much slower than we were before. So after this question, maybe we'll I don't know if Tony, if you want to open up voice for comments, or if you just want to end it here with the text questions. But I'll ask this one, and you can decide what you like in the meantime. Howie Smalls asked, will there be perks or something similar to COD that can boost certain abilities based on what you pick, or if you attain a number of kills consecutively, will you get some sort of kill streak type bonus? And you're muted up, Tony.
He's still muted again.
Say it one more time, Josh. You cut out a little bit.
The first part of the question was, is there any sort of perks similar to Call of Duty? I don't think we have any plans for perks, just the special abilities that you will have access to all of them for, but as you said earlier, a preferred special ability. But the second side of that question was, is there going to be anything like kill streaks or any type of bonuses for consecutive kills?
I don't want to say anything that what the game's going to have yet. It's too soon to say, and I don't want to say something that I'm going to be wrong in the long run. So we don't have that answer for that yet.
I'll chime in just a tiny bit. I think that we're not doing it at the moment, and we're not going to do it just at the beginning. That's not the plan. But replayability and reason to keep playing and achievements and progress is a big deal. So we know that, right? So we're aware of it and we want to get there, but it's not going to happen at the beginning, correct, Tony?
Yeah, so there's going to be certain things we're going to be implementing into the beta version and the player versus player. Obviously, there's going to be stats and this and that, but I don't want to go into what perks or this or that just yet. You know what I mean? Not yet. Till we sit back and see how the game evolves over time for the next 2 or 3 months and see what we can make and what we can't make. You know what I mean? I hate to over promise and under deliver. I rather under promise and over deliver at the end of the day. And the key here is to make a fun game, a fun beta tested game that everybody enjoys, but not making it so complicated that we have so many bugs or we just not be able to make it out on time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and this can be. I've worked on these before, and it's with you guys investing your time and money, and you can really shape this game as long as it makes sense with balance. We'll listen to everything you have to say, and when it comes to that time for progression and replayability and achievements and things like that, we'll do these calls again, and we're all ears on you guys to come up with some cool ideas. So it's definitely down the road, but it just won't be coming in the beta just yet.
Awesome. I guess this has been a question that's been asked even before today. So let me just get this one, and then I think we're done with questions. The Pied Pumper asked, will the in-game characters have any identifying badge or something so you can identify different classes on the field? So when I'm going up against someone, I see him across the map, and I'm looking at him through my sniper scope. Am I going to be able to tell that's a Genesis, a Legend, a Standard? Am I going to be able to see anything visually that tells me that?
I could say right now I don't have that question whether you'll be able to differentiate a Genesis or Legend. I know that there's going to be certain people that are going to want, because I've already had requests for, like, let's say they have a Bored Ape or they have something like that where let's say they have the face of their monkey or their mask of their monkey, and they're going to have their number of their monkey. There's going to be certain things that you'll be able to see in certain people or certain characters, right, that they make it so that everybody can see them. Now, whether they have like a Genesis on top of their head moving around, like certain games, like the Division has like certain things right over their heads. We haven't like gotten to that far details of the game yet. So I couldn't answer that right now. But it's a good question. It's definitely something to think about. You know what I mean? Whether or not we allow people to see whether they're Genesis. I could tell you like this: in the free to play version, it's not going to really matter whether you're a Genesis or not. Genesis and all of that it's more for the yield fact of how much money you're going to be making in the staking portion of it, and all that type of stuff.
Awesome. Well, guys, I think that wraps up questions. Any closing statements or things you'd like to leave the community with?
Darren, you have anything, and then I'll go after you.
Yeah, just I want you guys to know that you got a total gamer nerd here that's grown up with this stuff. I've been here since the very beginning, the first Call of Duty, the first Medal of Honor, everything. I've watched things grow from Commodore 64 all the way till every single system that's out there now. I even collect them at my place. I play them all the time. So I'm fully vested in the gaming world, and I'm very picky and I'm very meticulous on how I want things built. So just know that if you invest in this game, you're gonna get a badass game that, if something goes wrong, we're here for you. We'll change it. We'll make it right. So I want to play this game. I really, really want to play this game as well. So just know that I'm going to be here as long as I can be, and I'm going to be here as long as Tony will have me, and we're going to make just a kick-ass game that I hope you guys all enjoy.
Awesome. Thanks, Darren, for that. Thank you for coming by and chilling with us and answering all these questions. I know
it's been fun, real fun.
Nearing around 2 hours at this point, so everyone that's hung out with us too, thank you so much. And I'll leave it with Tony to close this out.
So before we close out today, before I say goodbye, I wanted you guys to hear from my mouth first. Like me, I like to always tell you any good news or bad news or whatever it may be. We're going to most likely have to slightly change the pricing on the Generation 2 Legendary launch coming very soon because of the volatility of the market, as you guys can see. Guys, I want to bring you the best possible AAA game possible, right? With that said, when we first started this entire process or this entire project, you guys know that Ethereum was at like 4,000. So the pricing was going to be a lot different, right? So we set the pricing on that, filling out what a game development, an actual AAA game would cost us. And obviously right now we're at a 50% deficit. What I want to say is, we're most likely going to raise the price just a little bit. It's still going to be lower than what you would have paid in the beginning, right? Meaning the price comparison compared to fiat, compared to ETH. Okay, let's say back in the day you would have ended up paying whatever $600-700 for, or $700 or $800 for a legend. It's still going to be lower than that. It's going to be $100-200 less. Okay, I want to bring you the best possible thing. It's not the greatest thing. I'm usually, when I say something, I stick with it. But I know that if we stick with this pricing, it's going to be a possibility that we don't hit the deadlines that you guys want. Okay. Now, with that said, I am going to give you something in return. Okay. For this price exchange that we're going to be giving it, because I'm going to be slightly raising the price a lot. And I don't mean and I don't want you guys to think, oh my God, it's going to fucking go up so much money that, it's not. It's just going to be a small raise. Okay. We are going to be giving you another cargo box, and we're going to be giving you another free mint for it. So for this next launch, we're going to be just wanted to let you know, give you guys a heads up from me. We're going to slightly be raising the price, but in return, we're going to be giving you more stuff. Okay, so we're trying to meet you guys halfway so that our community stays ahead. We make sure we have what we need to make sure that this development stays ahead and everything is done the correct way. I wanted to give you that. I wanted to tell you guys that from me. I didn't want you guys to hear it from anybody else or to get an official announcement without me telling you first. I've always been transparent with you guys in my community, and I want to keep it that way. So no matter what happens, I'm always going to think of you guys first, to be able to make all the, how can I say, the roadmap that we've cleared to make it, to make sure that it happens. So want to give you a heads up on that. So don't be, when you get the official announcement, probably in the next couple of days, I don't want it to come as a blow. I wanted you guys to be, all right, Tony talked to us about it already. I know for a fact that there are some people that are not going to be happy about this, and I understand that completely. And I apologize to everybody for that. But I have to do what's the best for the project, guys. At the end of the day, this project is a AAA game project. This is what I prided myself on. This is what I wanted for the community, to build a real game that everybody's going to enjoy, and that it was going to be great graphics, great functionality, and all this stuff. And the only way that we're going to be able to do that is by having the funds to do it, and needing the funds to do it so that it comes out in a timely manner, meaning in the deadlines that we said that we were going to do it. So just want to give you heads up. I wanted to leave the night with that, and we will be back and forth on giving you some more updates on that, and you'll get an official announcement. So that's about it. That's all I got for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this AMA. It's been almost 2 hours, and I'm probably most likely going to do one more AMA with you guys towards the end of the week, to keep you some updates on the announcements and everything we got going on. If you are not on the private whitelist, make sure that you talk, make sure that you bring in people, get on the private whitelist, because it will make you or break you in this next launch that we got going on. So just wanted to give a heads up on that. And it will be closing down pretty soon. If you're not in the Discord as a member, make sure you're a verified member in that. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you real soon, and make your mind unbreakable so that your body becomes unstoppable.
There
Thank
you go.
you.
Hey, let's
Thanks,
go.
Tony.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Darren.
Tony.
Thanks, Tony. Everyone have a good night. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.